part about training? What would you say the best part of training is? Because I'm willing to bet we have relatively a similar answer to this because it's kind of why we get into it in the first place. But you start with that. Best part of training.
Yeah. I mean, simplest answer is that we both love it, right? Mm-hmm. Like we already love it for ourselves, so we're going to love doing it for others as well. I think on a deeper level, though, providing the structure within my life, right? Yeah. So like if I'm preaching all these different things about what you should be doing nutrition-wise, working out on your own, right? Like that accountability factor. If I'm not practicing that as well, then why am I preaching it? So exactly. I think like just the fact that I have the power and knowledge to help someone do that for their own lives, I think that it's only right that I kind of I practice that as well. So
it took me a while to get that. Because at first I have, and you can probably test this too, where we have the body type where we don't have to do really much for a long period of time, and nobody would really tell a difference in our bodies. We're just lucky enough to have that type of genetics, but
mentally we'd be
fucked up. But like in terms of like actually your appearance, like nobody would really be able to tell whether or not we took 3-4 weeks off of training, which I did recently. And it's like, I'm over here trying to tell somebody to do this, this, and this. Make sure you go home and you're doing this, this, and this, and whatever. And I'm not doing it myself. It's like, how can I sit there and actually tell somebody and be passionate about telling them and act like I know or care enough to tell them that if I'm not doing it myself, So that's a great point. And I wasn't going to say that. My best part of training, or my favorite part about training, is really just the fulfillment of helping somebody. Yeah. Seeing somebody the first day they come in and how timid they are and uncomfortable doing certain movements compared to maybe even, this is drastic, but like 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, where they come in here with a big smile on their face, looking forward to moving and to, exerting energy and doing what they're supposed to do and getting through a vigorous workout and like looking forward to that part. Seeing that transition is so fulfilling to me, where it's like, okay, I'm actually making a difference in this person's life, whether or not they see it or not. That's a big, big jump for at least in their eyes, because obviously to us, training is a part of life and it's what we do. But to some of these people, it's like, this is uncomfortable for them. This is a big change to them. They don't want to do this. They don't like to do this. Seeing them go from that to walking in here and enjoying it and looking forward to the process, I think is really fulfilling to me. And that's my favorite part about it, because I think it's very hard to do that. And to see that kind of take place is super fulfilling to me.
Also that type of client you're talking about, that like comes in day one, they don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then you see them like a month later saying like, oh, we're doing split squats today.
Yeah.
Like they already know what the program looks like. They're comfortable doing it and they're kind of like hyped up about it.
Yeah.
I feel like that in itself is like rewarding.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone that's watching this podcast is going to think, oh, our favorite part is getting results for people. That's great. But I think like, again, we're thinking about the process of that as opposed to just wanting the product.
Yeah.
So like we're looking into the little small wins along the way, like what I just mentioned. Oh, we're doing split squats today. The fact that you can come in and say that confidently, that's a small win.
Yep.
I think that makes the job way better than losing 20 pounds.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That will happen along the way. So
Yep. Because if you're just paying attention to the scale all day, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be miserable. It doesn't matter how long you work with somebody. It doesn't matter what you do, what you change. If you're only using the scale as a form of like, I don't even know, as a form of like satisfaction to you're like seeing what you're actually doing or seeing results in what you're actually doing, you're never going to be happy. You got to take these small wins that you take along the way and use that as a form of motivation and staying consistent and doing what you're supposed to do for a long period of time, because the scale is not going to cut it. I'm telling you, it's not going to cut it. And it took me a while to realize that too, because I used to be somebody, I mean, you probably never did because you'd had a lot more exposure in certain facilities and working with top of the line trainers, nationally renowned trainers, where they probably don't focus on that type of stuff. But when I first started training, I used to think, oh, if my client doesn't lose the weight that he wanted to lose in the time that he wanted to do it, then I failed. It's like, no. What about the fact that he actually has stayed consistent for the last 8 weeks, coming 3 times a week, not missing a day, or if he does miss a day, rescheduling it and not finding excuses to not come. Like those are wins, and that's what people need to start focusing on more, because that'll create longevity.
I like that.
Again.